Hey, aloha, Love Tribe Bitcoiners. What's happening? I have a very, very inspirational and special guest here, DJ Gallixc, Brandon, who I reached out to and started stalking on TikTok because he makes me smile. And I'm still learning about TikTok, but you're like my number one person who I get to watch. Aloha. Welcome to the Bitcoin Peace and Music
Thank you so
Podcast.
much. Thank you. And that's crazy. I love when people tell me that, like, "Hey, I watched one of your videos, and then I watched all your videos because I just enjoyed it." Like.
You are seriously like you're super solid, you're super consistent. Your vibe is so good and I'm all about the vibe. Like you're just so happy and I can tell like
Always.
you're saturated in the goodness of the music,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
you really love it.
It's
Um
amazing. I love what I do, and I'm glad I'm able to do it and share it, and then people love it. So that makes me love it even more.
it's like a group dance, right? It's like
Yes.
when you're whether it's when you're on the dance floor and with people and DJing, it's a symbiotic relationship, right?
hmm
It's
And
like
it
super
feeds
duper.
off of one another.
It does, right? It's like their vibe, the dance floor's vibe gives us as DJs the good vibe, and we give them, and it's like this cool
Yes.
dance. It's yummy. So let's hear like what got you into DJing? Like how long have you been a DJ? What's your scoop on the whole music scene?
So I've been a DJ for about 8 years now, more or less. Um, I've always had an affinity to music as far as I can remember. I remember being 6, 7 years old, and I wanted to be a producer. Um, and obviously, it didn't pan out exactly like that, but I am working on doing that. However, with that being said, I grew up and I started to dancing, and then dancing is where I really grew that love for music. And then right around the time I graduated high school, I was like, I think I want to do this. Like, I want to be the DJ. I want to be the one that brings that feeling that I get when I'm on a dance floor, when I'm out there. And,
Right?
being, yeah, being that I have that firsthand experience of you know, entertainment and dancing and sharing that passion, I was like, I'll be perfect for this. And, I found my groove in DJing and I haven't looked back. So it's been a journey. Yeah,
And so you obviously play a lot of really interesting good styles of music. You're not just one like here's my one lane, and that's what
mhm.
one thing I really admire about you because you're like a rainbow of music.
Yes.
And it's all good stuff. And so how did you like who are your biggest influences? Like who if you got a few people if you're like, "Oh, if I could go have lunch and hang out on the beach with these guys or girls, like, who would you want to be?
So
Top 3?"
are you referring to like music artists?
Sure, artists, DJs, whoever. Like who inspires you to keep, moving forward with your passion?
So I definitely have to say that my mother would be first and foremost the biggest influence with my music, because that's kind of how I grew up with such a diverse taste in music. She's always listened to I have Latin background, so I listen to a lot of Hispanic music, but then she grew up playing a lot of dance hall and reggae, and then obviously like a lot of hip hop, and then I got into dancing, and dance is a lot of like upbeat electronic music. So like my palette over the years just became rich spread. So definitely mom first. Um, and then I would probably give the next two slots to Skrillex and DJ Snake, who are both obviously
Nice.
huge, major, big stream DJs. And I've seen them multiple times live. The experience I've gotten from them and the way that their music, the feeling it gives me, that's just how I interpret energy, and I want to give it back. So that'd be probably my top three for sure.
Wow, what a great combo plan of
Yeah.
those 3. I love that you chose your mom first. I mean, that's really that touches my heart. How was Mother's Day for you a couple days ago with her? Is she
So
around? Is she in where you're at?
yes, yes, we all live in the same area. My mom, my grandparents, I was on a work trip late, so I wasn't even here for Mother's Day. I got back Sunday, But I did buy her this pretty expensive YSL bag that she wanted. So I think that made up for it. She was super ecstatic. And I got her some flowers too. So um I think she enjoyed it. I was just happy to see her and whatnot.
Oh, wow, good for you. What a nice relationship that must be.
For sure.
Has she come out to check you out and, like, is she in the front row dancing at your shows?
Yeah, so she's been to a good amount of my events, and she sometimes she'll give me like suggestions for TikTok videos and stuff. And a lot of times, not so much now, because I've, like you said, I've kind of found my groove and I've become very solid with my content. But especially in the beginning, like I would always send her like my mixes and my videos before I'd post them and be like, hey, can you check it out? Because she has, even now, she's very up to date with the music of today. So like I trust her opinion on a lot of that stuff.
Oh, that's so cool. What a great
Yeah.
relationship. I hope my kids, wanna do music as I've tried to teach my son how to DJ, and he's just like,
Hmm.
"Yeah, mom, and I'll do it later." My daughter, forget about it. She's not gonna do it. But it's whatever. It is, everybody's got their own passion and their path.
For
So
sure.
um how do you put your music together? Like when you're putting together your content and everything
Hmm.
for TikTok, how do you decide like, yeah, I'm gonna go put this flavor together for this. I'm gonna show everybody or hold on.
So
Woohoo.
yeah, so a lot of times, if I'm not going off of a series that I already have, then when I decide on an idea to make a video, it kind of just hits me. Like maybe I'll hear a certain song and I'm like, okay, how can I make this into a video? If I hear something like maybe like a new reggaeton song, I'll be like, okay, can I compare this with old songs from that same artist or maybe old songs in the same genre? Can I make this a fun little contest? And then from there, I'll kind of gather like a pool of songs and essentially I will pick whatever song I want to do first, whatever song I want to do last, and then everything in between, I kind of just sing the song and I sing it into transition. So if I'm singing like Gasolina by Daddy Yankee, I'm singing it, and then out of the songs that I have in the list, I'll try to sing each one until I hear one that sounds like it transitions well. And that's kind of how I start that segue. So if you watch some of my videos, you'll see some of the transitions are so smooth or effortless because I take the time to really like listen to each one before I make into a complete list. And yeah, that's kind of like my thought process on the content. And I try to keep it fresh with different genres, old music, new music, and just trying to always stay on my toes about it.
You are. You're on your toes and you're obviously, creating content that people are interested in. And I love that you're always asking the questions like,
Yes,
are you a Rihanna fan? Which is the best here? So that you're really wanting to have that engagement with your audience.
engagement. Yes.
Like, how long have you been doing the TikTok videos? How long have you been a TikTok creator?
So I've actually been on TikTok probably now. Maybe since like late summer 2019. And
Wow.
yeah, but hold on, because it gets better. So that first I had, this is actually my second account. My first account I had for about a year and a half up until January 2021. And essentially like I this is when TikTok was still new. It had just changed from musical lead to TikTok. People
Mhm.
just kind of seen it as a dancing app, but there were people doing other things on the app. I was trying to figure out my lane because again, I have a background in dance, would dance and do videos, but I wasn't gaining traction. And within that time frame of a year and a half, I only had about 300 followers. And
Wow.
yeah, but I stuck by TikTok. I lived by it. I was like, guys, I told my friends about it. Like, guys, you can really make something happen on here. I have a buddy that had like 400,000 followers, and he would just post like funny videos. So I'm like, you know what, I can do this too. So I told a buddy of mine. He gets on TikTok within a month. He gets 40,000 followers, and I'm like,
Wow.
oh, okay, what's going on? And he's like, he told me he read somewhere at the time after having an account not making content consistently, the TikTok algorithm views your account as a consumer and not a creator. so they don't put you out there. So with that being said,
Oh,
January 2021, I actually DJ'd the wedding for my friend that had the 400,000 followers, and he was just like, "Listen, you need to get on TikTok. You're too good. You would kill it. You'd be amazing. Just do it." I restarted my account that month, and within like 2 days, I already had more followers than I did on my last account. Within that week,
wow.
I had like 1,000+ followers. Within 2 months, I had like over 200,000. Within 7 months, I got to like 1 million. So it was just like I was full sending. I lost my job in the process. Like I just full sent it, and I haven't looked back. And it has been an amazing journey. It's changed my life. So yes,
That is so cool.
yes.
That's really, really good information to know too. And I mean, congratulations, of course.
Thank
Like
you,
hell
thank you.
yes. Like rocking doing your passion and your dream. And obviously you're touching all these different people with,
Hmm.
your magic, right? And then is it translating? I would imagine it's translating into, more gigs for you and obviously more
Oh,
notoriety with
100%.
this many
It's actually
followers.
Yes, it's translated to a lot more gigs. Especially, I've gotten a lot of like high clientele gigs. Last year, I DJ'd for an NFL player.
Nice.
I've worked with Heat. Like I've done a lot of bigger things, but now I'm also at the point where I make enough money online from TikTok, from brand deals, from stuff like that, that I don't even have to book any gigs that I don't want to play. Versus
Yeah.
kind of taking whatever I can take because it gets the bills paid. Now I've only have one wedding booked for next year because it's like a family friend, but I'm trying to keep my books open because this year, for example, with how fast I've blown up, and last year, I've kind of I've missed a couple of opportunities because I already had prior engagements. Like I already had this wedding booked, so unfortunately, I can't take that trip to DJ for for whatever event. So yes, it's definitely translated for sure into business.
I love to hear that. That is so great. And
Thank
what
you.
advice would you give? Obviously, you just gave some great advice that your friend gave to you about,
Hmm.
you know, uh, uh, starting fresh or making sure you don't have an old, account that has
Hmm.
been just kind of more in the consumer mode, which is definitely me. I haven't been putting up content and a lot of stuff I've been hiding for a couple of years.
It,
And
it,
so
it's
maybe I'm
pretty. It's
like,
actually really normal that people have a TikTok account and they just kind of use it to surf, but they don't use it to make the waves.
they use it to surf, but
Yeah,
don't use it
that
to
was on the
make
spot.
the
That was
waves.
on the spot.
Whoa, I love it. You're so I talk about surfing the waves of life all the time when we're like,
Okay.
stressed out and struggling or dealing with, the ups and downs of Bitcoin. It's like, you are a surfer, baby. Let's
Yes,
go.
for sure, for sure.
Oh my God. I love it so much. So what have you got up? What's coming up next? What's in the pipeline for you? What fun things are on the horizon that we can learn about and support?
So, I'm glad that you asked. I actually just got booked by TikTok to DJ and participate on behalf of TikTok at the Cannes Festival in France. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
dude.
So this is huge. This is TikTok's first attendance at this festival. All the executives are going to be there, higher ups, like anybody in the company of TikTok, I believe is going to be there because this is such a major festival. So it's all expense paid. I'll be in Europe for a week. Well, I was actually already going to Europe, and I'm going to Portugal June 30th. So from June 18th to June 25th, I'll be in France.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna find another country to go 5 days and then go to Portugal. So I'll be in Europe for like a month in the summer.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Oh,
yeah, so that's huge, and they're like very adamant about making sure that this sets me up for the future. Like this is going to be a catalyst for a lot of things to come. So that is probably the biggest thing I have coming up right now.
wow, dude, that is awesome.
Yeah,
Congratulations. I'm
thank
so
you,
happy for you. That
thank you
is
so
like
much.
it's so exciting, right? Like,
It's
what's it
crazy.
feel like inside? Like, tell me what your insides feel like when all this keeps happening.
It doesn't feel real. Like sometimes I have to remind myself that to a degree I am somewhat of a celebrity. I am living my dream. I am doing things that most people don't do. And I forget it sometimes. I'm living it, and I have to go through the motions of it. But sometimes, especially like right now, when you're asking me how does it feel, I got to take a step back and just appreciate and understand like this is actually happening.
And when you were, deciding like, I'm going to go do this, I want to be the one playing the music and be the vibe captain. I always say I'm
Yes,
a vibe
yes.
goddess, the vibe captain, right? Like that's our jam as the
I love
DJ.
that.
It's such a privilege, right? To get to
Yes.
be the guide. It's like we're these like sonic shamans and shamanesses, and so it's like
Yes.
it's such a privilege, and it's always like, wow, is it going to go anywhere, or am I just going to do this thing? But you always dream like, what obstacles have you faced that that could have pushed you down and not let you blossom? Like, what have you overcome so that you can get to this point?
So that's a good way of putting it. When you said like, is this going to take off? Is this, not going to be anything? I've all kinds of different events just for the sake of exposure. Again, for bills. I've DJed for baby showers. I've DJed for sneaker conferences. I've DJed for middle school dances. Like I've just taken it all, and eventually, after doing so many events, amazing job, which I normally have a formula to always do a great job. Again, there's events that I just don't enjoy doing. So after doing events like that for so long, at one point I almost didn't like what I was doing. And I kind of just stuck with it. I kept my head down. I kept moving forward. Um, I went through a really bad last, and that was also something that I wasn't making content for a few weeks. Like I just, it was tough. Just going through that, and again with the job thing too, like kind of quitting my job, and not even quitting. I'm sorry, I got fired from my job because I chose to DJ an event versus coming in for work, and that was like another thing where it's like this is make or break. So I think just trusting yourself and
Mm.
believing in the process, that if I do this every day, it's gonna work for me, will eventually get you to the end of the road. So it's been a long road, but I wouldn't have changed anything.
Awesome. I love it. And do you have like, it sounds like your mom is a huge support
hmm
system for you and obviously number one believer, right?
Yes.
Um, who else in your life are like the wind beneath your wings, as it were?
So no, that's such an amazing way to put it. My mom definitely. A lot of my family members, um, they've always seen that spark in me. So
Mm,
it's so reassuring to have a team behind you that kind of picks you up whenever you're down on yourself.
yep.
But other than my mom, I'd have to say like the other number one person is my best friend. His name's O'Neill, and we've been brothers since high school, 16, 17 years old. He saw me breakdancing in the dance room in high school, and he's like, "Hey, dude, like, can you teach me?" I taught him how to dance. We made a dance crew, and I have not questioned his loyalty since. He is constantly reminded. Like 2 days ago, he just hits me up. He's like, "Hey, bro, I just want to tell you, like, I'm proud of you. I see the things you're doing. It motivates me to go harder. Like we're making these differences in our lives." And it's all the time. Sometimes he'll send me a voice memo like, "Dude, like I know I tell you this all the time, but I'm super proud of you." And it's crazy because you don't get that kind of genuinity in a lot of people. Genuinity. I'm sure I pronounced it right, but so having that, and then my mom, and just a great support system is amazing. Is amazing.
It is, right? And
Yes,
it does take a village for all of us to
a
have this
village.
success.
Yes, yes,
It's like when I used to DJ before I had kids, we had a little group called Valerie and the Vibe Tribe. And it was just like my girls and I, and they were like stilt walkers and aerialists and fire dancers and flute players. And we always would just like, okay, what's the budget? Okay, let's go spend it on as much as we can to make a killer
yeah,
production, right?
yeah,
But it was just like, it was hard. You know how it is. Like you
yes,
said, sometimes you'll show up and you're like, oh, okay. Well, we're gonna rock it, even though this maybe
yep,
isn't like my first choice of being at this particular vibe of a place, but
yep.
we're gonna do it. But doing it with your crew, your buddies, your tribe is so much more um, powerful,
Yes,
and
Yes.
it just feels so much better. How do you, how do you get the music? I mean, I'm always I'm still learning, like, how do you not get taken down? Because you're obviously playing all this popular music, and I know you're
Mhm.
doing, like, really short clips of each of it. Is that why? Because it's so short?
So, and I've had people tell me that too, like randomly here and there, Instagram will take down some of my videos in certain countries.
Mm,
But very rarely have they taken anything down completely. Maybe once, if anything. With what you just said, having those short snippets, I think that is more of a thing when it comes to live streams. And that's why I stopped live streaming on Facebook and Instagram, because they're super, super adamant about copyright.
yeah.
But in regards to just reposting them as reels and stories and stuff like that, I haven't really gotten any kind of backlash from it. So maybe the short snippets help, but I wouldn't be able to really like give you a solid answer, because I've had issues like that, especially like I said with the live streaming. But other than that, I've been pretty like under the radar. I don't know. Some people it might happen to a lot more frequently, but I've been blessed enough to say that it hasn't been such an issue for me.
That's good. And obviously
Mhm.
TikTok is hiring you to come go do cans. So they're
Oh
just like,
yeah,
yeah, we want to support this type of content.
yeah.
And what do you think? Like, what's your take? We talked a little bit. I know we've got just a little bit of time here. Um, Obviously, Bitcoin is something that I'm super interested in, and I always want to
Mhm.
help people understand just a little bit, like learning about Bitcoin and how they can become financially sovereign and understand that. As a creator, like you said, you have some brand deals that you're doing with TikTok. Like, how does it
Mhm.
work? Um, how do your brand deals work? Like, what does that look like for you over there?
So I get brand deals in a variety of ways. Typically, they'll reach out to me more often than not, but luckily, I was able to find a manager back in December. So
Nice.
they have connections that I would have never been able to acquire. So, for example, like I currently have my own radio show on AMP, which is Amazon's new live radio app,
Oh, cool.
and that yeah, like a huge deal, big paycheck that. But again, they
Nice.
got that for me. I get song promos too. So like some of the videos I'll do, I'll have like a song from an artist that pays to feature that song in a TikTok,
Oh,
to try to
cool.
drive more streams. Yeah, so that's a one way. And then other than that, like if it's just a company that wants me to kind of incorporate something that they're promoting, um, at this point I have my manager negotiate it. But before I would kind of try to see how I'd incorporate it into my content, because I try to be as natural as possible. I don't like forcing things where it feels like gimmicky. So I'll definitely try to incorporate it to the best of my ability, and try to make obviously the company or the client happy as well. So yeah, I mean I had a great amount of brand deals. I'm super grateful for that, and I a lot of times it comes to me. I don't. There's probably been a very small amount of brand deals I've probably gotten from reaching out. You know.
Cool. And that's amazing that you get to be more selective now, with other
Yes.
gigs so that
Yes.
like that's the jam. I so relate to that. I know about, when your passion and your the spark for what you're doing can get a little bit diminished if you keep
Hmm.
saying yes to sort of these like gigs
These
that are just kind of like,
damping your your
it
flair, your
does.
spark.
Well, and it's like as an artist, it's like that's what people want us for is because we're sparkly and fun and
Yeah.
we've got this vibe. And if we're not, feeding that and it's not a symbiotic relationship, then it's going to maybe not be quite as wonderful in the long term for us
Yeah.
and the clients and everything. So yeah, we get paid to sparkle, baby.
Yeah. No, it's literally it. And again, like you mentioned with my vibe, my energy and stuff like that, people eat it up. So they want to book me all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, like that's only half of the solution. Like once I get there and I'm bringing all my stuff, are you matching me? Or am I you know beating a dead horse in a way? And that's where the disconnect is for me. Don't get me wrong, I've had weddings and events and gigs that where I've brought my energy, and sometimes they outdo me, but they are the absolute most memorable and best events. I can probably count them like a few hands, but those always are the best. So super grateful when that does click.
Yeah, it's such a good feeling. I mean, there's
Mhm.
nothing like it. It is. It really is. It's an indescribable experience, and it
Super
leaves us
fulfilling.
always wanting more and more. Like, how can I go
Yes,
do this and
yes.
serve the dance floor and serve these wonderful people,
Hmm.
and serve the music? Like, I always, I have a track that I'm working on. Um, it's called "Music is a Medicine and the DJ is the Doctor."
Oh,
Right? It's
oh,
good.
okay.
I know, right? Music is the
I know.
medicine and the DJ is the doctor. Let's
Is
go.
that like a house track?
I'm gonna mix it in a bunch of different vibes for sure, but I just
Okay,
figured like, and I really do believe that we're all DJs of our own life,
of
right? Like
course.
we have the power to like curate this magical soundtrack, with all the things that we do. So it's like and it is medicine,
Yes,
like right?
yes,
You can get up with it, you get down, you get
yes,
sideways, you get sexy, you get like powerful. There's all these
yes.
ways that it's like it's a prescription for our soul,
One
I
hundred
think.
percent.
You know what
One
I
hundred
mean?
percent. Yes.
And it is just something really cool. What advice would you what would you have loved to hear, 10 years ago when you were just starting? Like, what would you say to yourself 10 years ago? And like new people who are wanting to come up into their artistic expression these days, what would you tell them?
I definitely say, find what makes you you in regards
Mm,
to your craft and capitalize on it, build on it, because that's essentially what I did. But I didn't do it because I had that direction more or less. It was natural. So for me, for example, my thing was dancing. So what do I do when I'm at weddings, when I'm at clubs and parties and stuff? I go out on the dance floor too.
yeah.
I'm I'm out there with you guys. I'm on the microphone. I'm high energy. I'm entertaining because that is how that's a part of me. So, build on what makes you you. If you like to be a tabletist and scratch, if you like to just talk smack on the mic and met people in the crowd, if you just want to let the music speak for yourself and it's on your transitions, whatever the case is, capitalize on it, make it you, make it unique to you. And I think that's how you stand out. That's how you separate yourself from just every average, DJ. I think that'd probably be my best piece.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that's the best advice I got too. I remember when I first started learning to DJ, I was like, I'm gonna just go every DJ that I meet or that I go watch, and I'm trying to learn from. I'm gonna ask them one little piece of advice,
Hmm.
and it was like, find your own groove and be
Yeah.
yourself and be authentic to yourself, and
Yes.
that's what's gonna like keep you on the magic carpet ride and
Yeah.
sustain you for the long term. If you're trying to like conform to what everybody else is doing or what you think everybody else wants, it's going to be like,
Yeah.
uh-uh. You got to find your own lane
One
for
hundred
sure.
percent.
It's so important. And so, wow, this is so exciting. I'm so grateful that you took time to meet with me. I really appreciate
No,
it.
I
And
appreciate your patience, your cooperation, the just the honor of being here. Super cool. I did another interview like last week. It's always so cool when people want to kind of talk to me. So it means a lot to have me on this platform.
yeah, it's great. And I love what you're doing, and keep rocking and doing it. I'm going to put up we can find you on
Yes.
TikTok,
Yes.
DJ Galaxy. And then I also put your other, the beacons.ai,
Yes. So
right?
that's
Is
like a
that okay
link
for people
to
to go
yes,
there?
that's perfect. So that's the link to all my things. I have Twitter on there, my Spotify on there, Instagram, YouTube. Um, I have a whole bunch of other links on there. I don't even remember because there's like 10 of them, but all my links are on there. So that's one
Cool.
stop shop for all things that are me.
Awesome. Yeah. Go for those of you who aren't watching, it's beacons, beacons.ai /Galaxy, Gallixc. And you can find Brandon there and DJ Galaxy rocking and rolling. It's so good. Um, yeah, I'm so excited. And where I'm gonna be, you're one of my new mentors. I'm gonna like follow your advice, and I know that like we're kindred souls for sure in the music and everything. And I really want to, where'd you go? Um, there you are.
Okay,
Um,
there.
I
Sorry.
really, It's okay. Yeah, no, you're definitely one of my new heroes and mentors, and somebody I really want to support you and just celebrate you and your success, my friend. Yay.
Thank
I
you
hope
so
one day
much.
you and I crush a dance floor together. That
Yes,
would be so much fun.
I believe it. I'm super open to collaborations and stuff like that. I'm actually planning a tour right now with my managers. They're ironing out all the locations and whatnot. So, you know, if I am in Colorado and I have the capacity and ability to kind of bring people with me, more than likely, more than I would be happy to do it. Otherwise, if we can plan it, that's another thing too.
We'll figure something out. Have you done
Yes.
many 2x4 sets with people?
I've done maybe one or two off the top of my head. It's not
Okay.
it's not difficult. It's just as long as you I think as long as you kind of speak about things beforehand,
Yeah, you got to
then it's
communicate.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because if you just jump onto it, it's like you don't know how this person works. Especially me, where I'm super energetic and super entertaining, they might feel like in the background, like I'm trying to outshine them, but it's like no, like this is just how I work. So
Yeah.
yeah,
No, I'm the same way too. I'm definitely uh the high vibe spaz, good vibe DJ. So it's really fun to like that's one of the things that magnetized me towards you was just your high
yes,
energy,
yes.
and I'm like, "Ooh, I see you." I know what you're up to.
Thank you.
It's awesome. So, any last words that you'd like to share or give a little, obviously we're in some really massive, crazy times in this world. Any words of love, hope,
um,
peace, wisdom for the
yes.
masses?
Um, just be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing, and just practice gratitude. I
Mhm.
think I think gratitude is one thing that just keeps you grounded. It's definitely keep me grounded. It keeps you humble. It keeps you just level on earth, aware, and just appreciative of everything. So just be grateful.
I concur. Yeah,
Mhm.
gratitude, the attitude of gratitude
Ooh,
gets you some altitude.
I love
Woohoo!
it. I love it.
Loving it, loving it. Well, I'm super grateful for you, my new friend.
Yes,
Yay. This is so great. And yeah, anything I can do to help support and spread the message of what you're up to, I'm on your team.
I
And
appreciate it.
yeah, super good. So, all right, everybody. Hey, let's take a big inhale together as we're listening and wrapping this up. Right on.
That was
All
good.
right. Thanks everybody for tuning in with DJ Gallixc, Brandon. This is DJ Valerie Beloved, the Vibe Goddess, and Bitcoin Peace and Music Podcast. And if you guys want to go check out, I made you a little playlist. You can go to bitcoinpeaceandmusic.com, and I've made 111 songs to rock your day. But and don't forget, definitely go check out DJ Gallixc on TikTok and everywhere else. Woohoo!
Thank you.
All right. Aloha, everybody. Cheers.